Pasifika Health Talanoa, proudly brought to you by Pacific Heartbeat at the Heart Foundation.
Ko le ke hufanga he ngahi whakatapu kutoa peko atu me he whare whamafola leani. Ka tā moau mawhi funa ki tahi fote me he timi Pacific Heartbeat o Heart Foundation. Pea mo Sue Perrott, whiwhine pālang koe ni o kukau mai he polokalama Talanoa ki he mo uilelei. Pea whamonu ia tu ai wike lea whakatonga o wike ni. Warm Pacific greetings, māloa lelei. It is Tongan Language Week. To all our listeners, to the Pacific Health Talanoa this afternoon. Mawhi funaki tahi fote is my hingoa, and great always to have Balangisu in the house.
Warm Pacific greetings to all our listeners, and malo elele to all the Tongans out there. Yeah.
Great. So this week, as we continue our health Talanoa, so last week we looked at how much we were having and eating, what that looked like for our kai pongpongi or breakfast. We talked about break the fast and also the snacks.
Yes. And Muffy, we shared a really handy little tool there last week that our listeners and our viewers could rely on for when they were, you know, looking at that plate and thinking, oh, how much of this food or how much of that food should I be having on my plate? So that handy tool, Muffy, with that handy tool, can you remember for the taro or the rice or the potato or the kumara?
Yeah, so I'm putting out my fist. So just clenching your fist together, tuka inima, then you'll see kind of like gives us an indication of how much rice, talo that you'll have.
And it fits onto about a quarter of a plate, you know, the actual size, yeah. And Muffy, remember, it's your fist, not your husband's fist, okay? And can you remember, Muffy, for the meat or the chicken or the sliced beef or what was the portion size for that on your hand?
Yeah, so the guide using the hand was actually not a fist, but as you putting it out for a hand, it will be the palm. And I was talking to one of the older Tongan ladies, the Alfinima. Alfinima.
So it's your Alfinima, not your arm.
Yes, or the Lainima.
So there we've got some sliced beef there that can just fit into there, or a couple of bits of chicken.
Yeah, so if I'm putting these slices of beef onto my Alfinima or palm, you can see that it fits nicely in there. Or you're getting some chicken, ganomate imoa, putting it on the palm, and it just fits as well. And it's quite flat, so it's not like layers of chicken.
It's not a big mountain of chicken.
Yeah.
It's flat like your palm. Yeah. And so on the plate with our rice or our taro, we've got the meat there, and that takes up about a quarter of the plate as well. Yeah, so around about quarter. Yeah. And Muffin, what about our colourful vegetables using our hands? What's a good guide for that?
I think,
remember?
I'm looking at, we've got fish in there on the
your colourful vegetables, you've got a fish?
I'm just thinking that you
want to do the fish first. Yeah, fair enough.
Because the meat is less.
Yes.
But if you're having fish, you can have more.
Yes, you can, yeah.
So if we put the fillet fish onto my hand, probably my hand is a very big hand, but the palm, the whole hand.
The whole hand. And you're lucky, Muffy, you can have a bigger piece of fish than me. Look, that one fits into the palm of Palangi Sue's hand. So yeah, that's about my size, but you could have a bigger
amount of fish.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So we'll have more fish.
Good. And then the colourful veggies.
Yeah, colourful vegetables, not just one hand, but two hands.
And what was that word for cupped? And I was trying to remember, and you were saying it in Tongan, or you were sharing the word that there isn't a word for cupped. In the language, yes.
No,
so what would we say instead?
Oh, that's a hard one to say in the Tongan language, but
two hands like that.
Two hands. And it's how much you can fit onto that cupped hand. So you've got mixed vegetables
I
there on
have.
your plate.
And they're a really
makes-
good choice. They're cheap and easy to prepare.
Yeah. So frozen vegetables, especially if they are out of season, then they're a bit more expensive fresh. But
Yes.
frozen vegetables is just as good as the fresh ones.
Yeah, that's a great tip, isn't
and
it, for families?
it can be quite much cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, and I find they're normally on special. There's normally one brand on special when you get to the supermarket. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Very good.
that would fit into cupping your
Cupping your hands. Yeah.
together.
There we go. There's your your frozen vegetables. Beautiful. And so this week we're looking at portions for our lunch. We thought we'd think about lunch. So I think you've just shared that the Tongan word for lunch is kai hoata.
Yes,
Kai
yeah.
hoata.
Kai
Oh,
hoata.
I'm going to be a Tongan before I know it.
Yeah,
So-
kai hoata. For our Pacific, it's really good to be having something between breakfast and
Yes.
dinner, and also considering not to go with long hours since breakfast or until lunchtime. So usually would say don't go for more than 5 hours without having anything to eat as lunch or in the middle of the day. And ho'ata in Tongan is when it's midday, so kai in midday, so it's in the middle of the day. Kai ho'ata.
So not leave great big gaps, and that as soon as you feel hungry, it's normally, if you've had a good breakfast, often it is about 4 or 5 hours after your breakfast, isn't it, to
Yeah.
actually make
Yeah.
sure to have a lunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you
or
know
kai
what,
ho'ata.
Palangi Sue, sometimes I think our signal that says when you're hungry can be not quite working efficiently or that good.
Yes.
So you may feel hungry when it's 7 hours later,
Oh,
and
gosh.
when you feel hungry is
That's
like
a massive gap, isn't
you're
it?
starving.
Yeah, so that's way, and then what do we choose then? Do we have the nice, well balanced meal like that if we're starving normally? Like, do we wait and prepare a meal, or do we just grab the whatever's going?
Yeah,
That's the problem, isn't it?
That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So it's really important that you also have lunch or kai ho'ata.
Okay.
Um,
And Muffy, have you got any ideas? We've brought a few props along today into the studio for our Pacific families. Some ideas for some healthy, quick, yummy lunches that they might enjoy. Have you got a few ideas around that?
Yeah, we've got that's a great thing about moving to New Zealand. We've got a lot of varieties.
Yes.
Different foods. Excuse me. But if you do have leftover, some families may have that, and they can
So
have
like
that
a
for
leftover taro or
leftover taro with chop suey, or it could
Or
be
a
a
stew,
stew, which is our supo. Could be a supo moa
Yeah.
or supo sipi, which is chicken stew or chicken casserole,
yes.
or some lamb casserole, or it could be
So leftovers are a
something
good
with
idea, aren't
with
they?
rice.
Yeah.
But if you don't have leftover,
Mm-hmm.
it could be similar to the school lunches if you've got
Okay.
children at home.
Yep.
And we've got here in front of us as our props, we've got a few slices of bread. So if when we talked in previous program, that wholemeal
Yes.
bread, and you've got
It fills you up a little bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So normally it has on the bottom of it wholemeal or whole grain. That
on the label,
on the label,
package.
doesn't it? Yeah. To
Yeah.
say that's the one the brown one that keeps you full a little bit longer, so you
Longer.
don't eat so much of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So we've got two slices of bread, and
Yep.
you could fill your sandwich with a bit of meat. We've got a couple of chicken here.
Nice.
So you can shred it if you like. So you can
Goes a bit further,
Further.
then, doesn't it? Yeah. Good idea for a family.
for a family, and then put a bit of vegetables on it,
What have you
lettuce. I'm
got
putting
there? Oh,
on
nice.
huge lettuce. We've got tomatoes. You can put it there, but if it's really expensive, you don't have to go with
Yep.
it. You can grate a couple of carrots
Mm-hmm.
and have that on.
And that looks like
and
a
that
good
looks like a
size
huge
sandwich.
sandwich that you
Yeah.
can have for lunch.
Yeah, looks lovely and colourful.
and that could go with a piece of fruit. And here we've got an apple or some
And a glass of milk.
A glass of milk.
Wow.
If you've got it
Yeah.
there. And then filling can be different options.
Yes.
We can leave the vegetables in there, but maybe not chicken. It could be an egg.
A boiled egg and
Boiled
mash it
egg,
up.
yeah,
Yep.
and
Yep.
put it on, and that could be your sandwich.
That's easy,
Or
and
if you
that's
don't-
quite cheap. Eggs are
and that's
cheaper
quite
than
cheap.
meat, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Or if not that, then tinned fish. You can have those tuna cans.
That's
Put
delicious,
that
isn't it?
on. Or if you don't want it in a sandwich, you can put the vegetables in a salad bowl with your tinned fish and have it with bread on the side, or with rice, or green
Yep,
bananas,
with our
or a
rice.
slice of bread, and have it together like that. But if you don't have time to do it, simply just having a monkey roll, which is right banana in your bread, with a piece of fruit and a bit of yogurt, that you've got yogurt there.
Yep.
Or it could be that you've got baked beans on toast as well,
Yeah.
on it, or just peanut butter.
Oh, peanut butter and a bit of banana. And I spied some cheese slices there too.
Yes.
So that's another idea in the sandwich as well, isn't it? And we
Definitely.
talked, I know we've talked in the past that the Edam cheese is a bit lower in fat. The eat 'em all up cheese.
Yes.
And you can get some nice slices of those for the family. Yeah.
Yeah, or it could be a couple of, it could be mixed vegetables, especially if you're working.
Yes.
Mixed vegetables with tuna, mix that up and have it with bread or rice.
With rice, got our.
At work.
Yep.
And of course the rice, brown rice, would be a better option.
And I've
for you.
got this is just the one I bought from Pack and Save, and it's actually really cheap, and goes a long way and fills you up because
Yeah.
it's still got all that roughage, all those fibrous bits in it. Yeah, that fill you up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit nuttier. I know for diabetic patients, if it's white rice, then basmati would be a better choice. for them.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Good tip.
So we've got a
So that's
variety
our-
of different options
That's
in
our
there.
kai hoata.
That's our kaihota balangisu.
Yeah. Good one, Muffy. You're
Yeah,
making me hungry.
yeah, and one of the tips that we've spoken about in terms of cheese was that better, it's cheaper to actually buy them, not grated. If you
Like
buy
the big
grated,
block.
the big block.
Big block of Edam cheese
Yeah.
for the family. Good idea.
If you grate it, then it's a lot more expensive.
Or like if you buy the grated one.
The grated ones.
Yes.
So the tip would be cheaper
So-
to buy the block
and
cheese
grate it
and
yourself.
grate it yourself.
It doesn't take it.
No.
Long, does it? Yeah.
Get a bit of physical activity in there.
Build up those pippies.
Yeah, but so this is some of the examples we've got for lunch or for kaihoata for the family. Usually it's at work, or usually for our kids at school, but it could be at home if you're home. But before dinner, it may be that you feel a little bit hungry.
I know, I do. I must admit at work, I'm getting hungry by about 4 o'clock, after my kai hoada. And so it is a good idea to have a little snack, but as we've talked before, a snack is really not the size of another meal. A snack is something small and healthy just to get us through to that evening meal. So, yeah.
So what are
That's a
some of
good
the
idea, isn't it?
examples there of what a snack could look like for afternoon tea?
Well, I brought in a few from the office, Muffy, and I was thinking about our whole grains again. We've got some whole grain crackers here with just a couple of slices of cheese, and when tomatoes in season with some tomato on it, that's lovely. Just put it on a small plate, that's a good idea. Or we could have some nuts. I've got some almonds here that fit into the palm of your hand, that's a good size.
But it could be
And-
peanuts, eh?
or peanuts, and I could have that with an apple. That's a good idea. Or a small bottle of yogurt, and I might have a bobby banana. Yeah, so small and healthy to get us through. Or it might just be a glass of milk and a banana, or a mandarin. I've got a couple of mandarin pieces here, or with our apple. And talking about our milk, I think we've already shared that the good ones for the family that are the healthiest for the families are the green top and the light blue top, because they haven't got as much cream in it, which is that bad saturated fat. It's got more milk, got more calcium, so more goodness in it. And I was thinking even just a this is a poached egg, but a boiled egg is great as a snack. Just a boiled egg and a glass of milk, that's another one. Or even just, we've got our carrot sticks and celery sticks. If you've got a pot of hummus at home or you've got some yogurt, just to dipping them in there, that's a nice one too. So have I sort of covered most of those? Or we could just have a piece of bread.
Yeah, a piece of bread with peanut butter.
Some peanut butter on it. Yeah,
and it's just, I see that you've got one slice.
I've got one slice, Muffy. One of that whole,
not 4 or 6.
Whole grain. Not 4 or 6. Just to get us through to the meal. Yeah, small and healthy.
Yeah. And it's probably, we've not mentioned it, but definitely water is best in terms of hydrating ourselves, but also making us feel, that we're filling up.
Helps to keep us full, and it's also got no sugar in it, so it's got no what we call calories or energy in it, so it doesn't add to the muffin top, so we can have as much water as we like. It's a great one. So Muffy, in summary, I was just thinking we could play a little game here, and I'll see if I can beat you.
Okay. Bring it on, Palangi Sue.
So Palangi Sue challenges you to see who's first to come up with the portion size of the name that I call out for our foods. Yeah, for on our plate. Okay, you ready, Muffy? Okay.
Ready.
Taro.
So that's our first. Yeah,
and so you can have more than me.
More, yeah.
Okay.
And we know that this is a guide. Yeah, a guide.
And not your husband's fist, Muffy.
And not 2 fists, 1 fist.
1 fist, not plus. Okay, colourful vegetables. Oh, even again.
Yeah. So it's actually having our 2 hands cupped together and filling it with how much vegetables can fit in there.
And that's the colourful ones. Because they don't put on the muffin top either.
Yeah. And this is not our taro and our cassava and our kumala and our ufi or yam, but our tomatoes here,
carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, silver beet, all of those colourful ones. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we've got 2 left to go. Fish.
That's our high five. So the whole hand.
The whole hand. And Muffy can have a bigger one than me. Lucky her. Yeah. And we've only got 1 left, so that's easy. What about the meat?
Meat will be our alfinima or palm, which is not including the fingers.
Yes.
So that's a guide to how much.
And I've got a lovely, we got this from Diabetes New Zealand, but there's a lovely picture of a portion of foods on a portion plate here. And so we've got half the plate, those colourful vegetables, and then we've got a quarter of the plate, we've got taro, and we can either choose taro or potato or green banana, and then we've got our meat or our fish or our chicken on the other quarter. So that's a really nice graphic. So Muffy, what about next week? What do you think we should carry on and talk about next week?
We've done the kaiho'ata or
the
lunch with snacks or afternoon tea. We'll do dinner next time and see what dinner looks like.
So we'll have our small healthy snack into dinner. Yeah,
that's right.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So to our listeners, hopefully you've had something to add to your kato or your basket of knowledge to help you become healthier Pacifica families in Aotearoa, in Usila, in New Zealand. And if you've got any questions, do put them through, and hopefully Palangi Sue and I would be able to clarify
that would be great.
Or answer those questions in the next program. Together we're talking dinner and dessert or hiki ngā ua. Next program.
Look forward to it. From
both of us, o whalahaiatu, and have a good Tonga language week ahead of you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Pasifika Health Talanoa, proudly brought to you by Pacific Heartbeat at the Heart Foundation.
Ofalahi atu and malo au pito to su pirit and mafifunaki tahi 40. Beautiful. All right. Beautiful information. Great information for our Pacific community. Maria Bernard says, PJ Salanoa says 100%. And Lisa Schaaf says, hi team, Heart Foundation, ofalahi atu mafi and su. And so a very good afternoon to Nick Bakelich as well. Also Malia tua I manu leleua ngari karati in Malo. Thank you to all our viewers and to all our listeners as well this afternoon. It's 26 after 2 and we are giving away a $50 voucher this afternoon. So I'm taking caller number 4. There you go. And we are going to go to Tonga. Milika Pasiaki, here's our news in Tongan right here on News Station 531 PI. Peter Bonzi, Paradise, Belong You Me. 531 PI.